Greetings, Commanders. Jurassic here. Today we're back with another episode of Icarus. Alright, so we made a little bit of a pillbox over next to the water on the final side of the map. So this time around, we got things a little bit different. So if you notice behind where we got this tree down, we actually have a water purifier so we can drink proper water without completely having negative effects. Let's go ahead and drink up that. We got food cooked as well inside of our inventory, and we also have a drying rack. We have a bed, and we have a fire. That way, whenever it comes to returning back to this area, we can save, we can drink, we can eat, we can move on. Now it's time to take on the next adventure. So last time, we had some slight issues with bear cubs chasing us down throughout the map. This time, however, we're going to build a pillbox, which is basically going to be a platform with windows all the way around encompassing it. We're going to have arrows, and theoretically, we're going to shoot outside the structure, not get eaten, and it'll be fine. Or it'll be a terrible disaster and we'll figure out what we did wrong. Good news is, however, since we put the bed, we'll always spawn here. So it shouldn't be too far of a walk, realistically. Alright, so we got the data site right here. Now we can't be too far away from it, so we're gonna have to build relatively close by.
This is the place. You know what to do.
So let's see, so let's do a basic structure, so we need that. Just need more wood. I think taking the time to set it up like this is probably going to allow us to survive much better. Obviously, we learned last time that it gets a little rough if you don't take some precaution in it. By the way, thanks again for all the support that you guys have shown on this series. It's been amazing. We've been doing a lot of Deliver Us the Moon on the channel. We'll also be checking out the new update for Star Wars Outlaws. That should be releasing tomorrow. Then obviously we'll be keeping Icarus on the channel too, because I'm having a lot of fun actually crafting around here. It's a really good like solo and multiplayer experience game. Alright, so that should be enough for a little bit. Let's see here. We're going to need at least 4 walls. We don't really care about the ceiling. I mean, we don't really need it to be that big of a structure either. We could do 2 wide. But I think 1 wide, if they break in, it'll give us a little bit of time to like pull the spear out and actually like defend ourselves. And this should be theoretically close enough. So we'll hold R. So we want to have this. Are they going to be able to clip through is now what I'm wondering. You know what? Let's build this a 4x4 just in case there's clipping in this game. That way we'll be a little bit more protected. So get some more fiber and wood, and then we'll be prepared. So I feel like a bear probably could reach in through the window. I don't know if we're going to be facing bears. The first one honestly wasn't too bad, finding the saber tooth. We narrowly escaped with our life in the very first one though. Second one, obviously, you know, we were tormented by bears all the way across the map. Getting over to this zone. So this time, we're not doing it. HQ forgot to send us the nukes though, so we don't have any extra weapons. Random off chance that we somehow have a monster sneak up behind us, we'll do that there. We'll have a window. Do a window there, then obviously we'll need a door. Also need a doorway. This time, I feel a little bit more confident. Obviously, we have open elements. I don't think that there's any like birds or anything that we're going to have to worry about. So we should be able to shoot through most of the angles around here. Theoretically, this is wide enough to where they shouldn't be able to clip in here and attack us. Or at least that's the going theory. We'll eat our steaks. I think we're ready. I don't think that's an attack deer. I think that's just a coincidence. I guess it would help actually starting the radar.
There you go.
Now we're ready.
Online.
So it comes with 2,000 health. Last time, the 2,000 health actually lasted quite a long time. This time we have plenty of stone arrows. We have spears. Little woof. Okay. Noticing some slight issues here. Oh. Maybe more than slight. Hold strong, building. So, I mean, we're alive? We did it? Last time it was a trick. Whoa! Get back! I believe this time we did it. Alright, so taking some precautions for, like, larger creatures might not have been the worst idea that we had.
Well, you're done here. You did a lot more than just survive.
You clearly did not see last episode, Commander. So we made it to our first checkpoint here. So this is where we stored our dried meat, which is why we made a dryer. So put there instead of you. That should last us quite a while. We'll come over to a water purifier. We'll get hydrated up. And then now, should actually be prepared for our journey. So I feel like if you're doing this, this would be definitely like a recommended setup. Maybe, you know, if you wanted to have the building match, at least do 3 tiles wide, but 2 technically is good enough. Gives you room for a fire pit on the inside to cook your meat and have a bed. By the way, you do have to have a fire lit in order to sleep at night. And if you're doing a multiplayer experience, everyone has to be sleeping for it to roll over into morning. I feel like now that we're close to the base, we've got to sit here in the consume stack. Water will be a little bit thirsty, but you know what? We can't solve that since we'll have dysentery. That way we actually look like we knew what we were doing. Pop up on some dried meat. All right, HQ. We're ready to return back to the base for another debriefing. Load it up. It's time to take off. Alright, so we had some slight complications with death in this area. But thankfully, we managed to survive. All right, so we completed you, then we completed the live wire, which now opens up the spelunking.
They need boots on the ground to do the work that no one else will.
Operator Uda, Biome Forest, background, workshop and personnel request additional supplies from the surface. Supply pod with requested ore samples. Transport will be provided prefabricated workshop gear, courtesy of the Shingong. Confirm loadout. So I was going to do the homestead mission line, but it turns out we have to get to level 10 in order to actually do that one. So unfortunately, we're still a little bit too short. Currently, we're only level 8. Alright, send us in for another mission from HQ. Don't worry, that little bracket is holding on for dear life, but it should be fine. So last time we learned that survivability definitely requires a structure, weapons, food, water.
Everything you'll need is in that crate.
In that crate. Okay, so we have a supply crate over that way. So as soon as you drop in, your number one goal is to run around and pick up sticks, stones, fiber. That way you can actually craft a pickaxe, normal axe, and then you can go from like weapons, torches, all that fun stuff. I'd start with the pickaxe though, that way you're actually able to harvest stone, which will make it easier to grab the rest of the items. I find it really weird that they have it optional to go collect the supplies. I feel like that should be like the number one thing that you need. Especially if the benefactors are actually giving us stuff to survive with, like, there'd be no reason at all not to collect the supplies. As long as you have about 18 to 20 oxite on you, whenever you get to about 50%, you can consume the whole stack, then you'll be back to 100%. So it's always recommended to at least have a little bit of oxide on you. Now, eventually we'll be able to get inside of like the part where we can drain our own oxide inside of our base, that we don't have to worry about consuming a stack. But that's a little bit later on. Ooh, so we got a fancy pickaxe. Looks like we got 2 of them. We have a gatherer's backpack and we have a vaccine. Provides temporary immunity to a range of infections commonly encountered on Icarus, including cave sickness and infected wounds. Okay, so this is going to lower the carrying weight by quite a bit, and we can also swap over to the better pickaxe. Stock ship is requested by workshop team. So I guess we'll have to get over to the ship to see what they actually want. I'm guessing we're going to have to go inside of a cave though, based on the gear given to us. It also appears that it is on the other that for us. We take it nice and easy. Gather 350 stone, 220 sulfur, 220 silica. Find the blocked entrance to the cave to the right of this gully. Collect ores from inside the nearby cave. Alright, so we're gonna need a lot of stone. I mean, I feel like the stone part's probably going to be the easiest one. And with this new pickaxe, we should be able just to tear through this like in a matter of seconds. Now the sulfur and silica, that's going to be a little bit harder unless it's actually inside of this ravine. Oh, well, there's some sulfur right there, so may not be too bad. Our biggest problem is, though, where we're at, we'll probably wouldn't build a base over like inside of this region. That way we can start getting like water purification, a food drying rack, then we'll just like come back over here to like each mine and like repeat the process. We're already committed to getting the stove though, so we'll at least get a little bit more. Let's see what we actually need. So obviously that's just going to need wood and fiber, so that's not too bad. Sticks, wood, fiber. All right, so drying rack, simple. Armor, I don't think we'll need necessarily. Now the water purifier, that's not like 100% need, but it's nice to have. So that's sticks and charcoal, so that's another easy one. So we just need a campfire. So yeah, let's take a break from the mining. We'll build us up a mansion, and then we'll be prepared. Maybe he won't notice us. All right, so let's get us a doorway. We need a few more walls. That way we're able to like seal it off. This is kind of an ugly base design. I feel like I would want it a little bit like wider around, but this is going to be a little bit more efficient. That way we don't really have to worry too much about structures. We're here on a mission to get everything done for the prospectors. I like having windows. That way if we need to defend ourselves, we can actually see like what we're doing. All right, it's got a door there. Let's build one more door. Oxite's going to be another major issue. And then we're also going to need to have something to seal off the roof. That way we don't actually get killed in the environment. We'll have a little door. That way we can get water up and running once that's ready. We have a baby deer outside the window. Now, we do have a couple different like roofing things that we're able to do. So we do have an angled roof, but unfortunately, since we're only doing a 1x3, we can't really utilize that anyway. So just get some wood. We'll be able to finish it off. Get a campfire built. The bed's going to be the biggest thing. We don't necessarily need a bed, but the campfire, that'll at least allow us to get the purifier running, because that'll get us the charcoal, which we can get the campfire ready. The drying rack, that's not really too essential either, but if we get more hunting stuff along the way, that will allow us to take advantage of the situation. Then we'll craft up a decent amount of arrows. So if we're able to get some meat before this storm comes, that'll be even better. That way we can get some food. Oxygen's also going to be another thing of short supply in this area until we figure out a good oxide mine. Stupid devil horse. These things are the world's meanest creatures in this game. Is he dead? Yeah, he's dead. Alright, so we'll need to build us a knife. Three of you. I mean, goodness, is we got free food. Bones we can harvest in a minute. Let's get inside the building though. That way we don't have all the negative effects. So boom, boom, and sealed off. So we already got the campfire built, so we can place you down. Now he is going to need a little bit of wood, but we should have plenty. What we're doing, so we'll have the fuel. That'll get us the charcoal as well. And then the meat, we can cook that up. We're going to have to eat basically both those anyway, so. That, get some dysentery since we can't purify the water just quite yet. And I think we're actually doing decent now. So we might have went a little bit overkill on the amount of arrows that we crafted, but this will allow us to hunt and protect ourselves. Same with the spear. Now, hotbar wise, let's see. So we'll move that around. We don't really care about the stone one anymore. Knife, we'll use that a little bit more frequently. So we have the pick, we have an axe, we have a spear, we have a bow and arrow, we have the skinny knife, and then we have our second pickaxe. Alright guys, well that is going to be it for today. If you guys enjoyed, like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one where we start mining out all these random ore supplies. And this little base should be able to do decent for us. So we got plenty of fish around here. Like I said, the only thing that's mainly worried about is the oxide. Once we get the charcoal, we'll be able to build a water purifier so we can have pure water. And then, I mean, technically we have an oxidizer too, but I think that one's going to be a little bit more expensive to build. So we need leather, bones, and fiber, which, I mean, so far we're at 12 leather already. And the bones honestly, I didn't even gather from the horse, so we could probably gather plenty of that stuff already. So the second thing we'll kill, we'll be able to get the oxidizer for the building, and then that'll technically be like a good shelter base setup for our mining expedition. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for sticking around and showing the support on the channel.